Hello everyone, this is Defense Politics Asia, and this is the SITREP or summary for the day of 6 and 7 for the 12th to 13th of October for the Hamas-Israeli war, or Israelis hammering of Gaza Strip. Anyway, there's a few major things that has happened. The number one that actually shocks the world is actually Israel making a statement, basically call for the evacuation of all Palestinians from the Gaza, from basically this area here, basically all the way down to the south. They basically tell them to you're no longer expected to be around here because the Israelis are going to flatten this entire northern area of Gaza Strip. So this is the biggest thing, and this information was actually transmitted from Israel to the United Nations, and asked the United Nations to actually inform the Palestinian side to make sure that they make this migration. And this problem, however, the Palestinian side or the Hamas don't want the civilian to leave. So very reminiscent to what is happening in the Ukraine war in the earlier days. So this best that they leave, because what happened is that the bombardment have started. According to the Palestinian sources, the bombardment by the Israelis has started on this Gaza City. Now the bombardment in the latest information is in the northwestern part, so probably around this area here, and airstrikes are also being reported over the Gaza Strip. Even from yesterday, from IDF reported they have hit 750 military targets overnight, and latest information has suggested that the amount of bombardment the bombs has dropped in 6 days has matched what the Americans has did in Afghanistan for the entire year. So this bombardment, the level of bombardment is so high that I believe it has kind of disorientated the Hamas battle plans, because I don't think Hamas have expected the Israeli to be so brutal and so ruthless. And even though they expected airstrikes and everything, which is why they prepared surface-to-air missile systems, they have manpads, they did all sorts of things that they know the Israeli always do. But this time around, this is actually something that Israel don't do, which is to flatten the entire of Gaza. So this is getting quite serious. However, Hamas also not having a lot of good situation in terms of the ground warfare around the Gaza region. So all the fighting outside of Gaza has been basically eliminated. The only one of the fighting that is currently still happening is there's some probable fighting over at Ashkelon. This information coming from pro-Palestinian sources, fighting around the Ashkelon region, and there's also some rumors of infiltration again by commandos, Hamas commandos, into the military base at Zikim. So yet another infiltration here. This also shows that the Israeli forces have not actually secured this area here of this front line, in the northern front line. But however, other than that, there is actually no more ground fighting around this area here. The only Hamas fighters that is being seen is over at Kafir Assad. At Sahad, there is actually reports of suicide bombers. 2 suicide bombers. I think this is probably the first suicide bombing that I've seen in this war. And allegedly, according to the Qassam Brigade, they reported that they have 2 suicide bombers attacking Israeli gathering of forces. So I'm not sure if they are successful or not. Otherwise, all we have is just bombardments across all the front line, including this shelling of the Hatzerim air base, You can see this is a very big airbase around here. And of course the usual shelling of Beersheba and Lakia. The shelling reported over at this Beeri, at Riem military base. There's also shelling over at Sderot, at Erez. This area is yet Mordechai, sorry, and Ashkelon, as well as Ashdod. There's also shelling being reported at Ben Gurion Airport, at Tel Aviv, and there's also shelling reported at Bet Shemesh. So yeah, you probably don't care about all this shelling. And there's also very interesting, there's a kind of like a cruise missile strike all over at here at Safed. Basically it's just off Lebanon, so this is a pretty long range firing all the way to this area here from Gaza. So the Hamas actually put out a footage showing this very spectacular firing of the missile. So probably does nothing as well. And then within the West Bank region, there is some very interesting things happen. There is a lot of shootings and fighting all around region, but which is actually not very particularly surprising, but it's more interesting is that early this morning, like just a few hours ago, the Israeli have launched massive raids across the entire West Bank. Over in the Bethlehem region, there is raids being reported at the Aida camp. So let me circle this. At the Aida camp at Bethlehem, at this place called Desha, and further south there is also raids over at Mararaba. And I forgot to mention, you can actually access this map. I've opened this map to public. Previously it was under paywall, so I've opened this map to public, and you can actually check this map out. Look at the sources yourself, and play around. And the link is in the description below. And over in the eastern part, there is also raid at El Sultan, and as well as at Aqaba Jabal. The one at Aqaba Jabal is actually a more serious, because there is shooting. So the Palestinian forces, there are some resistance fighters over there, and their fighting has ensued over there. At least one young man has been shot over at this region here. Further around the Jenin region, there is raids at Kusra, at Nablus. The one at Nablus is quite interesting. There is quite a number of let me see. There's an arrest, and they actually arrest three Hamas leaders: Adnan Ashraf, Hajj Muhammad, and Ahmad Awad. And as well, other than that, further up all the way in the north, in Jenin itself, there is also a raid. And at Jenin, this raid is very interesting as well. They say that the military vehicles stormed Jenin from all axes, which means that the Israeli basically launched a surprise raid from all angles, and not allowing whoever they want to capture run away. And fighting, of course, ensued. There is shooting being reported, and there is exchange of fire between the resistance fighters and the Israeli forces. So sporadic shooting was reported over there. So other than that, we have some fighting being reported at Jabal Mezraf. Over in the western part, there is Tura checkpoint, Mevor Dotan. There is shooting as well. The report was that there is shooting. Yeah, it's a Israeli settlement at Kabatia. At Kabatia, there is also, let me see, there is also fierce fighting being reported over there. And yeah, so there is at Huwara and whatnot. It's just a bunch of places all over the place. I think it's just more significant is that this coordinated raid across the entire West Bank is the thing that we should note. And it does shows that the Israelis mobilization has since to have taken into effect. They have gathered the forces they needed. That's why they are doing all these raids. And over all the way into the front along the Lebanon border, there is a bridge of sorts over at Hanita. So this is Hanita. This settlement over here looks very pretty. It's on the hilltop, as you can see, and then there's a valley that separates Lebanon and Israel. So there was allegedly some kind of breach over this region here. So the security fence, there was an explosion, and then the fence was slightly damaged, and then they responded by artillery fire, which I suspect might actually kill some of these journalists. There was the video went viral about some journalists getting killed. I'm not sure if this is related to that event. So, and then there is further fighting and shooting, and even helicopters fired missiles and in the area around here. So some fighting around this area here. The details is very, very unclear. It's just reports of Israel firing overwhelmingly against whoever is on the other side, but there's no sign of Hezbollah tried to invade into Israel just yet. There is no sign of this thing happening. So yeah, so that's about this. There is shelling there is at Safed. That one is by the cruise missile. And another of the major thing that happened over the past 2 days was the airstrike within Syria. So Israel actually struck the Damascus airport as well as the Aleppo airport. So these are the airports. These are actually international airports. I'm not sure if Aleppo is actually open for business in the sense of like an international airport. But the thing is that the reason for the airstrike is actually to deny the landing of the Iranian foreign minister into Syria itself. So by bombing these two airports, it makes it very dangerous for this or very just unsafe, or the airplane may not be able to land normally. So the Iranian foreign minister actually have to turn back to Iran, and then they actually flew again this time round to Lebanon at Beirut. So they still managed to meet representative of Hamas and the Islamic Jihad over at Beirut. So that's interesting. Yeah, that they are they are basically everywhere. So anyway, this is the SITREP and the summary for the day of 6 and 7 for the 12th to 13th of October. And like I mentioned, you can now access this map over in the description. You can find the link below. It's Google My Map. So tentatively, it will be public for as long as I think it makes sense. And so how to make it make sense? You may ask. Share this video to as many people as you can for anyone that is interested to follow this conflict and to know the truth of what is actually happening, because both sides, this conflict is very severe in terms of the amount of misinformation and propaganda coming out from both the Hamas side, Palestinian side, as well as from the Israeli side. So this is actually quite bad. So that's why I decided to open up this mapping, so that just get the critical information. Don't get bombarded by all this propaganda and misinformation. That the aim is to manipulate your opinion to side with them. Definitely both sides have victims, both sides are oppressors, both sides are killing each other. Of course, definitely Israeli with the bigger firepower is killing more people, and there's a lot more suffering over on the Palestinian side within Gaza Strip. However, it's still important to take note of what is the important thing in terms of the strategic situation, because if, for example, you are a supporter of the Palestinians and you may be ending up supporting a terror organization, which is what Hamas is. And then you may not realize that they are actually duping you with a lot of propaganda footage, which may be true, but they are manipulating you into anger and an emotional response against the Israeli. So don't get manipulated. The whole point of DPA is to get people not to get manipulated, and to not let your emotions override your objective opinions about what is actually happening. Because if you are you buy into too much of this propaganda coming out from the Hamas or the Islamic Jihad or any of this Palestinian or the Hezbollah, you may think that the Hamas is actually doing a lot more and a lot more successful against Israel. But the reality is that the blockade has become very, very tight and very, very successful. The Israelis has basically tighten up the entire of the border region. There's basically almost no way for Hamas to actually do anything right now. Hamas is basically trapped within the Gaza Strip. They are hardly able to get out except for over in the northern area here a little bit. And then all you get now is that it's just Israeli airstrikes across the entire of Gaza, especially in Han Yunis and Gaza City, and particularly artillery is now being used. The Israeli are now using artillery onto the Gaza City, and the best thing to do if you have any friends and contacts that is within Gaza Strip, be it journalists or civilians or international, humanitarian people or whatever, listen to the Israeli, get out of the northern area, go down south, like for real, because don't die for nothing. So that is very important. So go down south, and basically Hamas is basically out of action as far as I'm concerned in terms of the battle within Gaza, and they are just waiting to see whether the Israeli will enter Gaza, and but the thing is, whatever they have prepared is probably gonna be insufficient. Is good. Whatever they have planned basically is half gone, by all this heavy bombardment that was not expected by anyone. So the best thing they can do is to raise hell over in the West Bank and hope for reinforcement coming from Syria, where all the rebel groups from all the different regions like Iraq or Iran or whatever able to gather in Syria to launch an attack, which basically will be a suicide mission, because this is actually a proper real military defense line along the Golan Heights. And then they are hoping for Hezbollah to actually enter war, which Hezbollah is very unlikely to do, because if Hezbollah start to do anything for real, they might actually get destroyed as well. And then yes, they might kill a lot of Israeli, but Israel will enter war, and Lebanon army might actually one day take over back Lebanon from the Hezbollah, perhaps. Anyway, thank you for watching. Do press the like button, subscribe. Like I said, you have to support. Press the like button, subscribe, share the video, and yeah, then I can continue to justify the monitoring and the reporting of this conflict. And I'll see you in the next update.